Madam President, it looks like the European Commission will give a rather positive report when it comes to Moldova's EU accession, that you might start accession talks already this year. Now, there is this talks about that an enlargement could be ready in 2030. If the EU is ready, accession countries could be ready as well. Will Moldova be ready in 2030?
I hope Moldova will be ready earlier than 2030, but this is also a deadline that we established for ourselves internally in the country. And we're working hard, and we do hope that there is going to be a positive decision in December on the initiation of negotiations. And we do hope that the EU will be ready to accept Moldova in the next few years.
Would you continue to be coupled with Ukraine? You've been that so far, or would you consider a decoupling?
I do believe that this is a decision by the Commission and by the institutions. We do hope to go together. It is important for us that the EU includes also Ukraine, and I do believe that it's important for Ukraine that Moldova is also part of the EU. In the end, it's a merit-based approach, and we're going to work hard, and we do hope that the same is going to happen in Ukraine.
What about a trio, meaning Georgia coming in there as well, or do you have certain reservations?
You know, it's a merit-based approach, and I do believe that, I do hope that the more countries become EU members, the better for the continent. I do believe that the democracies should support each other, and the democratic world needs to stand together. And on the continent, it would be the larger the EU, the better, and the stronger the EU.
So you would consider all three going in at the same time?
Again, this is a merit-based approach, and we just need to work hard. Every single country needs to work on its agenda.
So you say that you might be ready even before 2030, and that means that at some point you will have to make a decision on Transnistria. What sort of scenario can you envisage? Can you envisage Republic of Moldova becoming an EU member state without Transnistria, like a Cyprus scenario? Is that something that's workable for you?
Of course, we would like to become a EU member state as a reintegrated country, and there might be a geopolitical opportunity in the next several years. Of course, things depend on what's going to happen in the region, and we are ready to use this geopolitical opportunity. I just want to reiterate that the peaceful solution is the only acceptable solution for the Transnistrian conflict. On the other hand, if this first scenario does not happen, I do believe that we should consider reintegrating or integrating Moldova into EU into two steps. First, the right bank of Nistrului, and then the left bank of Nistrului.
So a so-called Cyprus solution could be a solution for Moldova as well?
We should discuss this.
Turning to energy. You have said that Moldova is now free from Russian energy dependence. Is that true, though? Because are you not still buying Russian gas via Turk Stream?
We are not buying Russian gas today. We don't buy Russian gas from Gazprom. We buy gas on the market, which means that Russia cannot blackmail us as it used to blackmail before, like a year ago, when every time they would not like the policies of the government in Moldova, they would just come back and say, we cut gas supply. Today, we just go and buy on the market. I can't tell exactly where the gas comes from, but we buy it on the free market, and no one can blackmail us and tell us that we will cut the gas supply despite the fact that we pay for the gas.
So it means that you might still buy Russian gas, but it's just from other sources?
I will not be able to tell you where the gas comes, which we buy on the market, but we buy today according to the market rules and not according to some political and geopolitical desires.
But what about electricity then? Because most of the electricity still comes from Transnistria, which is dependent on Russian gas. How will you deal with that? Because
that's true. Today we do buy electricity from the power plant in the Transnistrian region, which was illegally privatized by Russia. But at the same time, we're building a direct high-voltage connection line with Romania, and in 2 years from now, we will be fully independent. Even today, we are connected into the entăi, so we have theoretical access to the EU market, but our connection goes through Ukraine, and every time Russia drops bombs on the electricity network of Ukraine, we have problems. So that's why we need to have a direct connection, and we're working on it.
But on January 1st, Ukraine has said that they will stop Russian gas flowing through its country, meaning that it will stop going to Transnistria as well. Will this not be a problem for Moldovan citizens?
As far as I know, the transit contract that Ukraine has with Russia expires next year. So in the meantime, we do believe that the gas supply will continue to the Transnistrian region. But as for the rest of Moldova, as I said, we don't depend on the Russian gas, which goes through Ukraine.
You mentioned the electricity line to Romania. That was supposed to start already in spring. Why has it taken so long to build it?
Well, it should have been built many years ago, but the project started in 2021 when the new government came into place, and the project is planned to end in 2025, and this was the original plan. It is a big infrastructure project, and unfortunately, it can't be built during a shorter time.
But then I see there is some sort of problem. Will Moldovans not freeze this winter if Russia decided to cut gas, and you will not get this line ready from Romania?
They will not. Moldova is in a much better situation today compared to previous two winters. First, because we have managed to make some stocks of gas. And second, we do believe that we're going to have electricity supply this winter.
On the same election, of course, there's been some worries, let's say in the West, that members of the Shore party have been disbarred from running. Shouldn't you as a Democrat want to face these in elections rather than barring them from even running an election?
When you deal with lots of dirty money, illegal money coming from Russia, being used by criminal groups, this is not elections. This is not democracy. This is corruption, and this is what we need to fight. And you do have Shore's group being declared by the Constitutional Court as an unlawful political party, and you do have Shore included in the sanctions list by many countries, including by the EU. So it's very clear that what we have here is an issue of national security, and is an issue of Russia's interference with our elections, and this is the biggest concern for these elections. And we have to protect ourselves, and we will do everything to protect ourselves. Elections is about democracy. What Russia is trying to do with its illegal, dirty money in Moldova has nothing to do with elections.
Aren't you worried, though, that this has set a precedent, that the tables can be turned and this can be used against so-called democratic forces in Moldova in the future?
No, because what I've been doing from the first day I'm in politics is emphasizing on the need to have legal and transparent financing of a political party and of election campaign. And this is what we are demanding today. To deal with corruption, to fight corruption, you have to start with fighting corruption in election campaign and in political parties. Because if you don't stop corruption in politics, that this risks to become corruption in the state institutions. So we will continue to fight corruption, and we will continue to fight the interference of Russia in our internal affairs, including in elections.
So you're not afraid that this can be turned against you?
I'm not afraid, because we believe in transparency, we believe in the respect for law, and we believe in the free choice of people, not in dirty money which comes to buy the votes or to buy the candidates.
Finally, Shore, as you mentioned, is still at large. What will you do to bring him to justice?
Our prosecution, our Ministry of Justice has been in contact with the Israeli authorities demanding the extradition of this person, because he has been convicted by the court in Moldova for 15 years in prison because of his involvement in the banking sector fraud. And we do hope to have a positive decision by the Israeli authorities.
When?
As soon as possible.